Hello and welcome to this German lesson. My name is Mr. Smith and today we're going to be revising how to use the past tense in German. Okay, so this lesson follows on from a previous lesson that I've recorded where you were introduced to the past tense, and today we're going to move that on a little bit further. We're going to learn a bit about the imperfect tense as well, and that's going to then come together in a role play to do with daily routine and the school day. Let me just move my picture over. Okay, so we're mainly talking about past, okay, things that have happened in the past. And the perfect and the imperfect, they're both terms, grammatical terms to talk about what's happened in the past. And the perfect tense is the one that is used most commonly when people are speaking, in particular, talking about regular events that have happened. The imperfect tense, you find that in formal writing. Is also commonly used with certain verbs. Okay, and these verbs are in English was, had, were, wanted to, could have, and so on. The two verbs sein and haben, to be and to have, they usually take the imperfect tense form. We'll see some examples in a minute, as do these modal verbs. Modal verbs are verbs like wollen, meaning to want to, or sollen, should, that kind of thing. Okay, so we've got the perfect tense example here of Ich habe Tennis gespielt, meaning I have played tennis. And if you remember, in the perfect tense, you need two verbs. In this example, we've got habe and gespielt. In the imperfect tense, there is one verb. In the example here, das Tennisspiel war toll. War is the verb. War means was. The tennis match was great. War comes from the verb sein, meaning to be. So es war would mean it was. Here are the singular forms. Es war, meaning it was. Ich war, I was. War, he was. Du warst, you were. And sie war, which would mean she was. And the plural forms as well. You've got they were, which is sie waren, and wir waren, we were. The other verb that we'll use today in the imperfect is haben, to have. So in the present tense, you would say ich habe. So maybe let's take the example, I have a headache, ich habe Kopfschmerzen. I had a headache would be ich hatte Kopfschmerzen. Here is some vocabulary and some useful phrases that we'll be using in today's lesson. At this stage, I would advise that you pause the video and write down any new vocabulary, or you may want to take a screenshot and print the page out or save it to a different device for use in the lesson. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we're going to do some practice on learning those words and phrases now. You're going to see the word or phrase in German, and I want you to say it in English aloud before I show you the answer. It's really important that you say it aloud. Heute. Today. Ich gehe zur Schule. I go to school, or I am going to school. The next one. Heute gehe ich nicht zur Schule. There we are. Today I am not going to school. Gestern. There we are. That means yesterday. What about this one? Ich bin zur Schule gegangen. I went to school. You could say I have been to school as well. Now, what about this one? Gestern bin ich nicht zur Schule gegangen. There we are. Yesterday, I did not go to school. Ich war krank. I was ill. You could say I was sick as well. In American English, they use the word cranky to say that you're feeling a bit ill. Ich habe Zitronentee getrunken. I drank lemon tea. Gestern war ich krank und ich bin im Bett geblieben. Okay, yesterday I was ill. I stayed in bed. Now, did you notice something about this one? So we previously looked at word order in German. So gestern war ich krank und ich bin im Bett geblieben. In this case, the subject and the verb, the ich and the war, they swapped around after gestern. But after und, in the second part of the sentence, the word order went back to subject, ich, verb, bin. This is that verb second idea rule in German. So you'll see that conjunctions including und, aber, oder, they reset the word order. They don't change the word order like some other conjunctions and time words. Okay. Okay, now let's try it from English into German. Okay, do have another look at the vocabulary list again. If you're struggling with any of them, you could always pause the video to give yourselves more time to think. Now, it's really important that you say the German aloud. See if you can say it before I do. I will also say the German words just to give you the idea of how to pronounce them correctly. Ich war krank. Ich bin im Bett geblieben. Watch in particular here the pronunciation of geblieben. Gestern. Okay, now this sentence. Yesterday I was ill and I stayed in bed. How would you put that together in German? Okay, gestern war ich krank und ich bin im Bett geblieben. Well done if you got that sentence correct. This morning. Heute Morgen. I did not go to school. Ich bin nicht zur Schule gegangen. This morning I did not go to school. Heute Morgen bin ich nicht zur Schule gegangen. Well done if you remember to swap the bin and the ich. I watched lots of TV and I ate soup. Ich habe viel Fern gesehen und ich habe Suppe gegessen. That was a rather tricky one, I think. I think I should maybe have made that one a little bit easier for you. Okay, now the situation is as follows. Clara is talking about her day at home. Mein Tag zu Hause. I'm going to read out the text, okay, of Clara's thoughts. And you're going to listen again following the English transcript. The first time you'll see it, you'll just see the German. The second time, you'll see the German and the English. Pause the video if you need to. Then you're going to take part in a conversation where I'm going to play the role of Clara's friend, Anna, who is phoning Clara and asking her questions. She's going to ask Clara questions about yesterday, today, and you're going to pretend to be Clara, answering those questions as if you were her, using the information displayed on the screen. So this is your chance to actually do some proper interactive German, actually practice speaking. Everything's going to be there for you. It's going to be nice and easy. And it's a really good opportunity to do something that you wouldn't normally get the chance to do, doing some online learning. Gestern war ich krank und ich bin nicht zur Schule gegangen. Ich bin im Bett geblieben und ich habe viel Fern gesehen. Mein Vater war zu Hause. Er hat mir Zitronentee und Suppe gegeben. Mein Tag war langweilig. Heute Morgen war ich noch krank und ich bin wieder nicht zur Schule gegangen. Aber heute habe ich nicht fern gesehen. Ich habe am Computer gearbeitet. Ich musste online lernen. Zuerst hatte ich eine Englischklasse, dann hatte ich Deutsch. Englisch war interessant, aber Deutsch war schwer. Danach war ich müde. Morgen gehe ich wieder zur Schule. Morgen geht es mir besser. So now you can follow the German along, or you can look at the English version to make sure you understand everything. Gestern war ich krank und ich bin nicht zur Schule gegangen. Ich bin im Bett geblieben und ich habe viel Fern gesehen. Mein Vater war zu Hause. Er hat mir Zitronentee und Suppe gegeben. Mein Tag war langweilig. Heute Morgen war ich noch krank und ich bin wieder nicht zur Schule gegangen. Aber heute habe ich nicht fern gesehen. Ich habe am Computer gearbeitet. Ich musste online lernen. Zuerst hatte ich eine Englischklasse, dann hatte ich Deutsch. Englisch war interessant, aber Deutsch war schwer. Danach war ich müde. Morgen gehe ich wieder zur Schule. Morgen geht es mir besser. Here are some question words that are going to be used in the conversation. Quickly pause the video if you don't know what any of these mean. We've got warum, meaning why, wie, which can be translated usually as how, wann, meaning when, was, what, and wer, meaning who. Pause the video if you need to write any of this down. Okay, so as I've already said, Clara is on the phone to Anna, and you're playing the role of Clara, who's the girl at home. And I'm going to be Anna, asking questions. Here's the information. Anna, warum bist du gestern nicht zur Schule gegangen? So I'll explain what you're doing again, just in case you're not too sure. Look at the text here at the top, starting from gestern war ich krank. Use the text there to form an answer to Anna's question, warum bist du gestern nicht zur Schule gegangen? This is what you could have said. Ich war krank, or gestern war ich krank. Okay, so next time I'm not going to prompt you, I'll simply play the role of Anna, and you can see if you can play the role of Clara. Was hast du gemacht? Hast du am Computer Sims 4 gespielt? Nein, ich bin im Bett geblieben und ich habe Fern gesehen. Na, sowas. Und wer war zu Hause? War deine Mutter zu Hause? Nein, mein Vater war zu Hause. Meine Mutter war nicht zu Hause. Ach ja, er hat dir bestimmt Kohle und einen Happy Meal gegeben, oder? Nein, er hat mir Zitronentee und Suppe gegeben. Wie schrecklich. Was hast du getrunken? Orangensaft? Ich habe Zitronentee getrunken. Okay, here's more of the information that you need. Remember to take your time. You can always pause the video if you need any more time to think. You shouldn't feel rushed. Heute Morgen hast du dich wieder besser gefühlt? Nein, heute Morgen war ich noch krank. Nein, ich war noch krank. That noch simply means still, I was still ill. Du Armer, also hast du wieder im Bett Fern gesehen? Nein, ich habe nicht Fern gesehen. Heute habe ich nicht Fern gesehen. Was hast du gemacht? Ich habe am Computer gearbeitet. Warum? Warum hast du am Computer gearbeitet? Ich musste lernen. Ich war krank, aber ich musste am Computer lernen. Was war deine erste Stunde? Hast du Englisch gehabt? Ja, zuerst hatte ich eine Englischklasse. You could also say, ja, meine erste Stunde war Englisch. Stunde is a lesson as well as Klasse. Ich mag Englisch nicht. Und in der nächsten Stunde hattest du Mathe, oder? Nein, Deutsch. Meine nächste Stunde war Deutsch. Wie war die Englischklasse? Interessant. Die Englischklasse war interessant. Und wie hast du dich nach der Deutschstunde gefühlt? Ging es dir wieder gut? Ich war müde. Danach war ich müde. And the final part of the conversation. Kommst du morgen in die Schule? Ja, morgen gehe ich wieder zur Schule. Morgen sehen wir uns wieder. Tschüss. Can you think of a way that you can reply to what Anna's just said? You could have said tschüss, meaning bye, or auf Wiedersehen, meaning goodbye. Okay, well done. Hopefully you managed to take part in the conversation without too much practice. It's really important that you go and watch the video over and over again, particularly that bit on the conversation. Okay, you can revise the flashcards again if you need to as well, but it's the conversation that you should play over and over again by going through it and practicing that conversation until you're able to answer the questions without needing the prompts. That's how you'll become fluent in German. If you have time to do some additional work now for German, you could translate the script, the Eintausendhauser script, into English, and then see if you can translate it back into German, and then check using the slide on the video. That retranslation kind of exercise is a good way of practicing translating from one language into the other, and then seeing how you did by translating it back into the original language. It's good practice because you'll be familiar with the words already. It's just a case of getting the words in the right order, getting the words spelt correctly, and so on. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that lesson. I hope you've learned something from it, and I'll hopefully see you in another German lesson soon.